We all have people in our lives who we don't fully understand. Sometimes someone prepares us for something without saying anything, quietly changes our thinking, and we don't even realize when, how, or why we agreed to something. Have you ever felt that someone is secretly influencing your decisions? Has it ever happened that someone used your emotions in such a way that you started feeling helpless in your own life? Welcome to the world of dark psychology, a world where the human mind is understood and manipulated in such a way that a person does not even realize they are trapped in an invisible net. Amy Brown's book, Dark Psychology Secrets and Manipulation, talks about this mysterious world. It reveals hidden psychological techniques and strategies used by some of the smartest and most manipulative people, whether they are politicians, sales experts, or people who use others purely for their selfish motives. In this video, we will deeply analyze this book, decode every strategy, and help you understand how people try to hack your psychology to control you according to their will. But that's not all. We will also learn how you can protect yourself from these manipulations. Many people think manipulation is only something shown in movies, but in reality, it exists in our everyday life, in office politics, relationships, social media interactions, and even in family dynamics. The real danger of dark psychology is that most people cannot see it. Those who master it gain the ability to bend others' minds to their will. That is why it becomes important to know how to protect yourself from being manipulated. Whenever someone tells you, you can't even imagine what is happening to you, you should become alert, because often the things we cannot see are the most dangerous. The biggest truth of dark psychology is that everything is done secretly and very cleverly. It is a silent war where words, emotions, and the human mind are the biggest weapons. So, are you ready to know this psychological mystery? Do you want to know what the secrets of dark psychology are and how some people try to control your life without your permission? If yes, then watch this video till the end, because here we will not only tell you about these manipulative tactics, but also the most effective ways to protect yourself from them. So, let's dive into this fascinating psychology that can control our thinking, our emotions, and even our actions. Chapter 1. Secrets and Strategies of Dark Psychology. Have you ever met someone who can control the atmosphere without saying much? Have you ever felt that some people influence others so easily that the other person doesn't even realize they are making decisions under their influence rather than their own will? This is not magic, but the use of deep secrets and strategies of dark psychology by people who know how to play with others' minds and emotions for their own benefit. Dark psychology is the art of using psychological techniques to change the way someone thinks, feels, and makes decisions. People who understand it can control others according to their will without them even realizing it. It is a power that can be used ethically by the right person, but in the wrong hands, it becomes a dangerous weapon used for selfish purposes. People who are skilled in dark psychology use certain strategies. The first and most important strategy is emotional mirroring. This is a technique in which the manipulator subtly copies the other person's emotions, expressions, and thinking style. When someone gradually adopts your gestures, tone of speaking, and behavior, your subconscious mind starts considering them similar to you. This creates an unconscious sense of trust, and this is where manipulation begins. Another powerful strategy is fear-based control. The human mind is naturally influenced by fear. When we are afraid of something, we are ready to do anything to avoid it. People who use dark psychology take advantage of this fear. They use subtle words and ideas to influence others. Those who create uncertainty and fear in your mind make you feel that if you do not listen to them, something bad may happen. This fear can be of financial loss, social rejection, or emotional breakdown. A person who uses fear correctly can set a narrative in your mind that works for their benefit. Another psychological technique used in dark psychology is gaslighting. In this, a person slowly tries to distort your perception so that you start doubting your own thoughts and memories. You begin to feel that maybe you are wrong and the other person is right. When someone repeatedly says that you are misunderstanding things or that your memory is deceiving you, it can be a sign of gaslighting. This technique is so dangerous that a person starts doubting their own thinking and becomes completely dependent on the manipulator. Another hidden secret of dark psychology is guilt tripping. This is a technique in which a person creates a sense of guilt in another person to force them to agree. For example, if someone says, "If you don't help me, I will be very upset," or "If you don't listen to me, it shows you don't care about me," it is an example of guilt tripping. It is a subtle but highly effective method used to control others. These secrets of dark psychology are not only used in personal relationships, but also on a larger scale in politics, business, marketing, and social media. Companies design advertisements by understanding human psychology to sell their products. They create fear of scarcity, such as limited time offer or stocks running out fast, which pushes customers to make impulsive decisions. Similarly, many leaders influence public emotions to make their strategies successful. One of the most dangerous techniques of dark psychology is the isolation technique. In this, the manipulator gradually separates the victim from the outside world so that they become fully dependent on them. They make the person believe that no one else is trustworthy and only they are right. When a person feels alone, they become more dependent on the manipulator's words. This technique can be abused in any direction. If you learn to recognize these techniques, you can not only protect yourself from manipulation, but also become mentally strong. Now the question is, are you able to recognize these strategies? Do you know when someone is using these techniques on you? And most importantly, are you ready to protect yourself from them? Understanding the secrets of dark psychology is not only important so that you can control others, but also so that you can learn to control yourself. When you understand these deep mental tricks, no one can easily manipulate you. Now it is in your hands how you use this knowledge, as a mental shield or as a psychological weapon. Chapter 2. Analyzing Dark Psychology. Have you ever thought that if you had the ability to understand the deep strategies running in the human mind, how many things you could turn in your favor? What if you could know that someone is playing a game with you so you could protect yourself before falling into their trap? To understand this, we need to analyze dark psychology. It is not ordinary psychology, but an attempt to go deep into the aspects of the human mind that most people do not even think about. Dark psychology is that branch of psychology which is based on power, control, and influence. It is the art of understanding human weaknesses, manipulating desires and fears, and directing people in such a way that they do not even realize what is happening to them. It is the deep study of mental techniques often used by narcissists, psychopaths, and master manipulators. In our daily life, we often come across people who play with our emotions, put us in guilt trips, or try to control our decisions by taking advantage of our fears. Many times, we do not even realize that our decisions, thoughts, and emotions are being subtly controlled. But when we start to analyze dark psychology, we begin to understand how some people try to manipulate our emotions, thoughts, and perceptions. The first and most important step to understanding dark psychology is that we understand how the human brain actually works. Our psychological patterns, fears, desires, and insecurities make us vulnerable. When someone gives us approval, we feel happy, and when someone ignores us, we feel anxious. When someone triggers our fears, we become scared, and when someone gives us validation, we start getting attracted to them. This is psychology, and this is the foundation on which dark psychology works. Think about it. When a manipulator makes you feel that you are wrong and they are right, is it just an argument? When someone controls you by saying that you do not want to disappoint them, is it just an emotional request? When someone forces you into fear-based decisions, is it just a warning? No, these are dark psychology tactics used to control others. Some of the most dangerous weapons of dark psychology are manipulation, deception, gaslighting, guilt tripping, and emotional exploitation. All these techniques focus on one thing: subtly controlling the emotions and thoughts of another person. When someone guilt trips you and makes you feel like a bad person just so you agree with them, it is a classic example of dark psychology. When someone manipulates your perception and tries to make you believe that your thinking is wrong, it is called gaslighting. And when someone uses deception to slowly bring you under their influence, that is also a part of dark psychology. Another aspect of dark psychology is persuasion versus manipulation. Many people think persuasion and manipulation are the same, but there is a subtle difference between them. Persuasion is an ethical skill in which a person is convinced through logic and balanced emotions without pressure, but manipulation is an unethical method in which a person is controlled by playing with their emotions. Studying dark psychology helps us understand how people think, how they react, and in which situations they are most vulnerable. This knowledge is not meant to be used wrongly, but it can help us in self-defense. When we realize that someone is playing with our emotions, we become alert and can avoid falling into their trap. The biggest question of this chapter is, do you know that you may have already been a victim of dark psychology techniques at some point in your life? Have you ever felt that your decisions were not truly your own, but someone subtly forced you into them? Have you ever been in toxic relationships where you experienced gaslighting or guilt tripping? Analyzing dark psychology is a way of becoming mentally strong. It is not just the science of understanding manipulation, but a mental armor that protects you from people who want to play with your emotions. Once you learn to recognize these patterns, you can avoid getting trapped in psychological games. You can strengthen your mental power and make your life decisions more consciously. Now it is up to you. Do you want to remain a puppet in someone else's hands, or do you want to recognize the power of your own mind and build a strong mental shield for yourself? Chapter 3: The Art of Manipulation. Have you ever wondered how some people easily make others agree to their point of view? Without any force or strong arguments, they change the thoughts and decisions of others using only words and behavior. All of this is the result of a skill called manipulation. Manipulation is not just a psychological technique, it is a game played with human emotions, fears, desires, and insecurities. A skilled manipulator is someone who reaches the subconscious mind of another person and makes them feel that they have made the decision themselves, while in reality, every step is planned. Think about it. When someone says, "If you love me, you will do this," is it a request for love or a cleverly designed mental trap? When someone makes you feel guilty for not helping them, even though you had valid reasons, so this was just a simple request or a psychological trap? When someone convinces you through their words that your thinking is wrong and they are right, was it just an argument or a subtle attack on the mind? The roots of manipulation lie deep in our emotions. Human beings are emotional creatures. We all want love, respect, safety, and acceptance. And when someone gains control over these emotions, they can shape us according to their will. This art is so subtle that often we do not even realize that we are being manipulated. We think we are making our own decisions, but in reality, every decision is carefully planned to push us in a certain direction. A skilled manipulator knows the biggest weakness of each person. Some people need validation, some can be controlled through fear, some can be controlled by guilt, and some can be manipulated by trapping them in situations where they have no other option. All of this is part of a mental game where no one appears to lose, but in reality, one person has already lost mentally. You may have seen such examples in relationships, friendships, office politics, or your personal life, where people use others' emotions to get their work done. Have you ever felt that someone convinced you to do something you did not want to do? Have you ever been guilt-tripped into doing something and later felt that you betrayed yourself? Have you ever dealt with people who twist your words so that you always feel guilty? There are many forms of manipulation: gaslighting, silent treatment, guilt-tripping, passive-aggressive behavior, and subtle mind games. All these techniques are designed with one purpose: to control the thoughts and decisions of another person. When someone makes you feel that your own thinking is wrong and that you must follow their instructions, it is called gaslighting. When someone gives you the silent treatment so that you act according to their wishes, that is also a form of manipulation. When someone uses guilt tripping, they directly attack your conscience in a way that makes you feel bad and forces you to agree with them. But is manipulation always bad? The answer is not that simple. Sometimes manipulation can also be a tool of self-defense. When someone is trying to forcefully influence you, sometimes subtle manipulation is the only way to protect yourself. When dealing with toxic people or narcissists, it can become a defensive weapon. However, it is very important to understand that to avoid being manipulated, you must first understand manipulation itself. If you recognize that someone is playing with your emotions, you can remove yourself from that situation. You must understand that anger, emotional arguments, or guilt tripping are not always genuine. Sometimes they are just tactics used to make you follow someone's will. Chapter 4: The Art of Persuasion. Have you ever wondered why some people are so influential? Whatever they say, people agree with them. When they make a request, others cannot say no. Their presence carries a different kind of power that naturally influences others. This is not magic, it is persuasion, the art of convincing. Persuasion is an invisible force that slowly affects the human mind. It is not force or manipulation, but a subtle influence in which a person is guided toward an idea without feeling pressured. A skilled persuader is not someone who forces others, but someone who understands people's thoughts, desires, and emotions and gently guides them in their favor. Think about it. When a salesman sells you a product you never intended to buy, was it just good selling or an effective persuasion technique? When a leader influences thousands of people with their words, was it just a speech or a deep psychological strategy? When a friend or colleague convinces you to do something without pressure, was it just coincidence or the effect of persuasion? The real power of persuasion lies in its subtlety. It is not a way to force someone, but an art of influencing the way a person thinks, so that they themselves agree with your ideas. This is why the most successful people, whether business leaders, politicians, sales experts, or motivational speakers, are all skilled in the art of persuasion. Human beings are emotional creatures, and emotions play a major role in every decision-making process. A good persuader knows that emotions influence people more than logic and facts. That is why great public speakers do not rely only on facts when they speak. Instead, they connect their message with emotions so that people do not just understand the idea, but also feel it. If you observe carefully, persuasion is used in our daily lives everywhere. When a child insists on a costly toy from their parents and repeatedly tries to convince them, they are unknowingly using persuasion. When a boss convinces an employee to work overtime without any official order, that is also the use of persuasion. When a partner tries to convince their loved one for a decision, they are also using this art. But there is a subtle difference between persuasion and manipulation. In manipulation, a person is forced by playing with their emotions, while in persuasion, a person is gently guided by showing them a different perspective. A skilled persuader never uses guilt trips or fear tactics. They understand what the other person needs and present their idea in a way that the other person naturally agrees. The greatest strength of persuasion is that it works like an invisible force. When used correctly, it can influence anyone's thinking. Have you ever noticed that big brands in advertisements do not only show product features? Instead, they target our emotions. In a perfume ad, you are not just shown a perfume, you are made to feel that using it will make you more attractive and confident. In a car advertisement, they do not only focus on specifications, but also create feelings of luxury, adventure, and power. This is the real power of persuasion. It presents something in a way that people do not just see it, but feel connected to it. Now, the question is, can persuasion be learned? And the answer is yes. It is not an inborn talent, but a learnable skill. If you understand it, you can use it as a powerful tool in both personal and professional life. Chapter 5. How to protect yourself from dark psychology. Have you ever felt that someone is slowly controlling you, but you are not able to understand how it is happening? Have you ever felt that someone is playing with your emotions, guilt-tripping you, or manipulating you without your awareness? If yes, then it is important to know how to protect yourself from the effects of dark psychology. This is not a small matter, because many times we do not even recognize this mental game and slowly become its victim. The most dangerous aspect of dark psychology is that it is usually very subtle. It hides in someone's words, tone, body language, and sometimes even in their presence. People who are skilled in this art do not let their victim realize that they are being manipulated. But if you learn to recognize these techniques and protect yourself, no one can easily control you. The first and most important step to protect yourself is self-awareness. If you have a deep understanding of your emotions, thoughts, and reactions, no one can easily manipulate you. Manipulative people often target other people's insecurities. They want to know what you care about the most, what your biggest fear is, and what makes you emotionally vulnerable. If you know yourself well and accept your weaknesses, you will not allow others to use them against you. The next step is setting emotional boundaries. Many people get manipulated because they do not define their emotional boundaries. They do not know when to take something seriously and when to protect their energy. A manipulator will always try to make you forget your boundaries and act according to them. They will use guilt tripping and make you feel obligated. And many times, people will use even your own emotions against you. If you strengthen your boundaries and learn to say no, you can protect yourself from these mental games. Next comes critical thinking and logical analysis. A master manipulator always uses emotions because they know emotions influence people the most. But if you start analyzing everything logically, you can avoid manipulation. Whenever someone says something to you or pressures you into something, ask yourself, is this really right, or is it just an emotional trap? Many times, just thinking this much can save us from manipulation. The most important thing to avoid dark psychology is assertiveness. It is a quality in which you firmly express your thoughts without aggression. A manipulative person is powerful only when the other person is weak. But when you are confident, express your opinion clearly, and make decisions without pressure, no one can easily manipulate you. It is also very important to understand the people around you. Often, those who manipulate us are in our daily lives, friends, colleagues, relatives, or sometimes even our closest people. They slowly trap us emotionally, and we do not even realize that they are playing with our minds. That is why it is important to pay attention to people's actions more than their words. If someone repeatedly tries to lower your self-esteem, makes you feel guilty, or mentally exhausts you, it is a red flag. The most effective way to avoid dark psychology is to make yourself mentally strong. This means increasing self-respect, self-worth, and self-confidence. When a manipulator sees that you understand your own value, they fail to control you. They always target people who seek emotional validation, who need approval, or who are easily influenced. But if you recognize your own worth, no one can control you through guilt. Another important thing to avoid dark psychology is maintaining distance. If you realize that someone is continuously affecting your mental health, the best solution is to gradually distance yourself from that person. This is not always possible, but whenever you get the chance, you should try to stay away from toxic people. Sometimes the best self-defense is to remove yourself from the source of manipulation. The most important thing is to come out of a victim mindset. Many people think they are repeatedly manipulated and cannot escape it, but the truth is that dark psychology only affects those who do not understand it. Once you learn to recognize these psychological tricks, you become mentally strong enough that no one can easily manipulate you. Now, the question is, have you ever been manipulated by someone without realizing it at that time? Have you ever been a victim of guilt tripping, emotional blackmail, or gaslighting? And if yes, are you now ready to protect yourself? Not everyone understands dark psychology, but those who do can completely change their lives. Now it is up to you whether you see this only as psychological knowledge or adopt it as a mental shield to protect yourself from all kinds of emotional manipulation. So friends, if you liked this video and want me to bring more summaries like this, don't forget to like the video. Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever felt that someone was manipulating you without your knowledge? And if yes, what did you do to protect yourself? Your opinion matters a lot to me. And yes, if you are new to this channel, subscribe to the English audiobook channel and press the bell icon so you can get such powerful and informative videos first. Next time, we will meet with another interesting book that will make your thinking even sharper and more effective. Thank you. See you in the next video.